The most significant transfer of Boro's summer window might be about to be completed, as Hayden Hackney might be on his way to Ipswich Town. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and well, today huge news has been broke. It dropped last night, albeit the fee and the numbers that were being bandied around were wide of the mark. Some were very speculative. But what we do know, the fact of what we know, is that Middlesbrough have accepted an offer from Ipswich Town for Hayden Hackney, which is a bittersweet bit of news, because from everything that we understand, and I think whether Boro fans agree or disagree with this, unfortunately, Boro need to be able to sell a big asset this summer in order to complete the rest of our transfer business. That's become clearer and clearer, as we well know, which means either Hayden Hackney, Rav Vandenberg, or maybe even both are having to go so Boro can complete the rest of their summer dealings. Now, from the money that is available, so far we've been able to get 2 signings through the door, but I think it's obvious Boro need more funds to get the rest of their deals done. Now, as I mentioned, from what I understand, we've got plenty of players lined up. We're not just sat there with no links. There are a number of players that are ready to go, and the deals are ready to go, and it's a case of needing the money to hopefully get them completed. Not all of them are players that are in the positions that we require. However, that might still be a concern, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But as for this, it seems like Boro might finally be getting a huge influx of cash for Hayden Hackney. But the club he's going to, his destination, the fee, all of that has, well, caused a bit of debate, you could say, on Boro Twitter. Some good, some bad. So let's get into it then. The exclusive article was dropped by Scott Wilson of the Northern Echo this morning, as you guys know. The Echo, the Gazette, Scott Wilson, Craig Johns, Dom Shaw, the trio, the three musketeers of Boro news, if you want the most reliable news and where things are going with Boro. And this is what he said this morning. So, Hayden Hackney is set to hold talks with Ipswich officials after Middlesbrough accepted a bid for the midfielder. However, at this stage, it remains unclear whether Hackney will opt for a move to Ipswich or remain on Teesside to consider his options for the remainder of the transfer window. Boro have accepted a total package worth around £20 million from Ipswich, with the vast majority of the fee being paid up front, which was a key part of the negotiations that have been going on for weeks. So this has been going on for a while. Boro and Ipswich have clearly had quite a back and forth as to what the offer, what the package will look like. We're best breaking this down as we go, because there is a lot to digest. Firstly, Ipswich Town. There's been a lot of talk about that on Boro Twitter, and some I understand, some doesn't bother me as much. Now, firstly, I would be astounded if a Premier League club or a big European club does not come in to try and test the waters with this one, because Hayden Hackney has been linked with some huge clubs, not just last summer, January, for years now. A number of big Premier League clubs have been monitoring for a very long time. Apparently, we knocked back bids from Porto in January. So there are some ginormous clubs all over Europe that have been looking at Hackney for a long time. So no disrespect to Ipswich, but I'd be absolutely astonished if they end up being the only team that actually put in a worthy bid and were the only ones that got even close to signing the midfielder, because he seems so highly rated by so many people, unless they simply just don't believe he's worth the fee that Ipswich are willing to pay. That could be why. The other point when it comes to Ipswich is, of course, the elephant in the room. They're not a Premier League team. He's not moving to the Premier League, as we all assumed he would. Now, I think this is more a shame for the player than it is us. A lot of Boro fans are booting off and saying, he's going to a rival, he's going to another Championship club, this is a disgrace, this is shocking, this is awful. I'm not bothered by him going to Ipswich as such, because the harsh reality is, even though on paper we are in the same league as them, they are on another planet to Boro right now. You know, the horrible reality, and I hate it as much as the next fan, the horrible reality of how the Premier League and the Championship shape up against one another now is that the 3 teams who come down are just in another stratosphere compared to the rest. The parachute sides may as well be in their own league, to be honest. You know, I think it's 9 of the last 10 automatically promoted sides that have gone up were parachute teams. Ipswich, ironically, were the outlier 2 seasons ago, but I'm not as upset about him going to a rival because I don't see Ipswich as a rival. I really don't. I think they'll be a team that'll have all the ability to fight for promotion, playoffs at the very least. Boro look mid-table at best right now, so it's not like he's going to a team who are going to directly compete with Boro for promotion, and Hayden Hackney's contributions there might prevent Boro from getting promoted. I honestly don't think that's even realistic. I'm more sort of upset for the player himself because he is worthy of a Premier League move. He deserves a Premier League move. That should be his natural next step. He should not be staying in the Championship. Now, of course, I guess a parachute club is the next best thing, and the chances of him playing Premier League football in the next year or two is still very, very high with Ipswich, but he really, for me, should be taking the step into the Premier League now. So that's where I think it will be interesting to see what Hackney chooses to do. Now, he's made it clear he loves Boro, he adores the club, it's his club, and his dream is still to get promoted with his hometown club. But let's be honest, if he's weighing up the options, if he's realistic, does he see us getting promoted anytime soon? I'm going to say no, and Ipswich will give him a much better chance of doing so. They'll also give him much higher wages as well. It's just, is he willing to be patient to wait another year to get promoted to the Premier League? Of course, there's a high chance that Ipswich will go back up, but it isn't a guarantee because nothing's a guarantee. So the destination as to where he might end up is the only strange thing about this deal. Not that they're a rival, but because of where I think Hackney should be. But anyway, we'll move on with the rest of the article. Cashing in on Hackney will enable the Teessiders to unlock a number of key incoming deals they've been working on this month, with a move for a new forward a priority. A deal for a forward that would involve a significant payment is understood to be at a reasonably advanced stage, and Boro's recruitment team would hope to make rapid progress on that proposed transfer if Hackney's departure is confirmed. Talks over a potential deal for free agent Danny Ings also remain ongoing. So that tells me this could unlock the door for not one, but 2 forwards to come to Boro. Now, Danny Ings is one that's been linked for a long time. It's gone kind of quiet. I said when the link was first dropped, I wouldn't mind that as long as we brought in another forward, and that sounds like exactly what we're doing. So if this deal opens up a chance for Boro to get another forward in to bolster our attacking lineup, whether it's Sonte Janssen, whether it's Pavel Sulk, whether it's Richard Cornet, it could be anybody. That's good news, and it is a confirmation of what we've kind of known for a while. Boro have needed to make this sale in order to make a move on other options. The Teessiders are also looking to strengthen their defence, particularly at fullback, which is an absolute godsend, and midfield following the arrival of Alfie Jones and Abdoulaye Kante. Of course, as we know, Kante's deal was not in relation to Hackney's sale at all, so Hackney will be replaced by another midfielder. Ipswich are hoping to sign Hackney to help replace former Boro midfielder Sam Morsey, interesting, who completed a move to QAFC earlier this month. However, while Hackney is expected to hold talks with senior officials at Portman Road, there remains a degree of uncertainty whether he will agree a move to another Championship club. There have been suggestions that Ipswich are willing to offer a £35,000 a week offer in wages, which would represent a significant increase on what he's on at Boro. However, as I mentioned earlier, Hackney was being heavily linked with the likes of Everton, Palace and West Ham ahead of the opening of the transfer window, and was subject to an unsuccessful bid by Porto in January. It then goes on to talk about his success at England under-21 level this summer too, but then does say Ipswich are the only club to have tabled a bid for him so far, hence Boro's reluctance to accept the offer, because I guess Boro are also waiting for some of these other big interested clubs to come in, and of course if a Premier League club comes in, that means there might be more money on the table for Boro, and a bidding war might ensue, and the price of this deal might go up. But then equally, as we say at the same time, when you're a club like us without parachute payments, it is such a tough balance. You can only hold out for so long to get the best possible deal you can, because in the end, you need that money to actually reinvest in your own team. And that's the balance that I think Boro have been trying to get right this summer. It's obvious that discussions have been going on for a while here, and I'm sure Boro will not want this to drag on as late into the window as Latte did in January, for example. And as I say, it's awful to say, but we need one of these big boys to leave, whether we like it or we don't, whether we're questioning whether Lath money's gone or not. No one knows the incremental incomings and outgoings and the financial side of Boro. And to be honest, I don't think, people say, where's the £22 million for Lath gone? We won't have received £22 million in January for Lath. We'll have received it in instalments. There'll have been an upfront fee. We'll be still receiving money for Lath as the transfer windows tick by. We don't know what the upfront fee for that was, and we don't know how much of that might have gone on covering Boro's summer window last year, where, let's not forget, we spent quite a bit of money last summer with, of course, Morris, Conway, we got Whittaker in January, as well as just helping fund the club and the huge losses that it makes every single month. So no one quite knows the true financial state and what is going on and where the money is being used. All we can look at is what we're being told, and the facts are Hayden Hackney looks like he's moving to Ipswich. I do hope it gets done quickly. Equally, I would like a Premier League club to come in and throw even more money at it, but if it gets done quickly and it allows us to get the moves done that we need to with just over a week to go until the season starts, then I'm happy to do that. I really am not going to lose sleep over him playing for Ipswich as much as others. I think it's more just a shame for him and his career, if I'm absolutely honest. And finally, talking about the fee. So it apparently is worth around 20 million. That's still very ambiguous. There were a number of numbers that were getting dropped last night. 15 million was one, which I thought was shockingly low. That was thankfully wide of the mark. The package is worth 20, which, yeah, it really does depend. It's a bit of a grey area. For me, if you can get it anywhere up to 25 million, that's not too bad. From what I heard last night, from what I was told, I think the package will creep towards 25 million with certain add-ons and instalments. But like with any incoming, like with any outgoing, Boro are not going to get the full whack of this straight up. Just like when we sign players, we don't pay the full amount up front. Football deals and transfers are very much done bit by bit in instalments over time. So the positive, as Scott mentioned at the top of the article, is at least the majority, a large amount of this 20 million is going to be paid up front. Boro have pushed for that. It's obvious we've done that because we need as much of it as possible to reinvest this summer. So it's good that the club have pushed for more money up front. I just hope that the add-ons, the incentives, all the other bits and bobs that will be added do creep up towards 25 million. If we get a package of around 25 million, I'm happy enough with that. I don't think that's so bad, but time will tell. We'll see where this goes. I just hope it gets done quick. Of course, we'll keep making videos on it as we go, but this could finally be, hopefully, once this transfer is done, it will just free up a huge number of incomings at the Riverside, and we can start looking ahead to our season a lot more positively with hopefully a lot more new bodies over the next week or so before the season starts. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. A lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions going on. There's so much to this deal. And of course, we'll see how it develops. Subscribe if you want to keep updated on it. And until next time, guys, do take care. And I'll see you all in the next one.